Hi class, welcome again to another session on rehabilitation engineering. So today we shall discuss aphasia. So aphasia is a communication disorder that is caused as a result of damage to the brain. So typically it results in an impairment of language comprehension, formulation of words and use. So aphasia affects the sound, the vocabulary or grammar while speaking and understanding. So language disorders associated with visual or hearing deficit, mental deterioration or psychiatric aberrations are not included in aphasia. So aphasia is basically brain damage. It is not a consequence of some other impairment, right? So a person with aphasia may have dyslexia, which is difficulty in reading, agraphia, which is difficulty in writing, or acalculia, which is difficulty in calculations. Some people they find it very difficult to multiply or divide or something, do so arithmetic operations. So they have acalculia. Some people have difficulty in writing. They just often they don't understand the different. They write a or G in the reverse manner, not the way that G or A is written normally. And dyslexia is like difficulty in reading. Often dyslexic people have difficulties in identifying certain alphabets. So all these are different types of aphasia. So aphasia can be of various types. It can be global aphasia, isolation aphasia, Broca's aphasia. Then you have the transcortical sensory or motor aphasia. Then you have Wernicke's aphasia, conduction aphasia, and anomic aphasia. So there are 8 types of aphasias. Let us see each one of them one by one. So global aphasia is severe loss of comprehension and repetition that occurs in the that is associated with this type of aphasia. So, severe deficits are found in all language processes, including speech production, comprehension, auditory, reading, and writing. So, almost all processes, everything that is related to language and communication is affected, and that is global aphasia. Isolated aphasia is where all language processes except the ability to repeat are poor, right? These people with isolated aphasia can repeat whatever is being told to them. However, remembering or talking on their own or articulation and everything, with reading, writing, everything is a problem for them. You have Broca's aphasia, where speech production is slow and poor, and the grammar and articulation is impaired, right? So because they just don't understand the grammar or the articulation. So generally, the comprehension in such patient is good for complex, except for complex sentence. So if it is simple sentence, simple communication, then their comprehension is very good. And also, reading is superior to writing. So they are much better in reading a piece of written article than actually writing that article. So that is Broca's aphasia for you. Then you have transcortical motor aphasia, which is similar to Broca's aphasia. However, the people with transcortical motor aphasia have preserved ability to repeat fluently. So they can repeat whatever is information is given to them very very fluently. Otherwise, they have all issues that a person with Broca's aphasia has. Next one is Wernicke's aphasia. In such patients, the speech is fluent with paraphasic error. So they end up replacing certain sounds or certain words involuntarily. So such patients have their own jargons or repeated unintelligible or stereotype phrases. So they just don't understand that they are being unintelligible. They just think that whatever they're just not able to coordinate or understand exactly what is it that they're saying wrong. So they have their own jargons, and they have their own way of expressing, which might not be legible for many of us. So, transcortical sensory aphasia is similar to Wernicke's aphasia, except that here the patients have preserved ability to repeat their speech. So, if we say something to them, they can precisely repeat it. Otherwise, they have all symptoms of a person with Wernicke's aphasia. So, such people have poor comprehension, but their speech is very fluent, and grammatically they don't make any errors. So, they're very good at talking. So they may not use the correct word, but might use another word that is similar in content, such as they might be meaning to say bread, but they'd use biscuit instead, right? They might be meaning to say tea, but they'd use coffee instead. So it's similar, like they'd be replacing words, but they will, but it will not be totally out of context. Instead of bread, they will not be saying rice, right? So it is just like something like that. So conduction aphasia is spontaneous communication is where spontaneous communication is excellent, but they have issues in repeating what someone else has said. They are not very good at repeating. So their communication skills is very good. However, if I say something to someone with conduction aphasia, they wouldn't be able to repeat it. Finally, you have the anomic aphasia, where speech is very good, well articulated, grammatically correct, but these patients have severe difficulty in finding words. You know, often halfway through the conversation, they go literally blank, and they'll be searching their brain for appropriate words to articulate. So they have issues in conversation. These are the various types of aphasia for you. So once you have diagnosed someone with aphasia, how do you treat them? So usually sometimes aphasia can improve on its own, but the recommended treatment is speech and language therapy, and it is provided by a speech and language therapist. So the main aim of these therapy sessions are to help restore as much voluntary speech and language as much as possible, and then help in communication, assist in alternative ways of communication, and educate the patient and their family about aphasia, because it can be very frustrating. The patient is trying to communicate and does not understand exactly what it is that the other person is not understanding. The family is frustrated because they are trying to understand what the person is saying, but they just don't, but they are just not, they're just not intelligible. So it is very difficult scenario. So the therapist should educate so that both the patient as well as the family understand where the problem is, and then accommodate accordingly. Right. So during speech and language therapy, improvements can be noticed immediate. Cannot be noticed immediately. It takes some time to see some improvement. There are intense courses available as well, but it is not suitable for everyone. Everyone cannot do a crash course on speech and language therapy and then start talking again properly. So it depends on what kind of a condition you have. Often stroke patients, if they are given an intensive training immediately after the injury, then their speech improves really well, right? And they can continue improving throughout the rest of their lives. But initial intense speech therapy would actually result in a really really good outcome later on. It would reduce their disability to a greater extent. Now, specific treatments used for this specific treatment protocol depends from person to person and their level and kind of disability. So, some general methods that are used by the therapist are as follows, like matching words with pictures, sorting out words by their meanings. So, these would actually assist them in improving their ability to remember the word and link it with other words. That would help. Linking of words in a grammatically correct manner is a sentence, right? So linking each words would become easier if you are doing such tasks. That the patient may be asked to repeat words uttered by the therapist, or repeat words of a rhymes or something like that, rhyming words and all these kind of words. The therapist would ask the patient to repeat again and again, which would help them practice talking those words. Now, if tasks using simple words become easy for the patient, like they have improved and these simple words are becoming very easy for them, then they'll be asked to construct sentences, attempt to construct sentences, and they might also be asked to rehearse the telephonic conversation so that next time when they pick up the phone, they know exactly how to talk. Now, this treatment of aphasia was referred from the NHS website. I shall put a link below on the description box so that you can go and refer to the link. It is very very descriptive and very well written. And that's all I have to speak about aphasia as well. I hope to see you again in another video soon. Take care till then.